Current shipping market is very interesting. We have found that over the last 3 or 4 months of the year that the number of containers, say on the sea freight FCL side of it, have reduced enormously. We find that the market is, I would say, somewhere 30 to 35% down from the same period last year, even though, it was very, very slow or predominantly slower last year. The major trends in the shipping industry is the inclusion of some of the larger shipping lines moving into the freight forwarding side of the business or logistical side of business. We are finding that more and more shipping lines have either purchased or expanded into warehousing, distribution, freight forwarding, customs clearance, two-door delivery. We don't own our own planes, our own ships, our own warehouses, our own trucks. And to compete with companies that can have all those in their arsenal is very challenging. We're still seeing that, many suppliers are running late with production. I believe that, the major component is, labour shortages and factors around that to be able to, make the product and supply the product. So our customers, are very dependent on us to make sure that, there's enough lead time, there's enough time to make, organise the product once it's produced to be able to hit timelines on arrival. The current market for exports is challenging as always. I mean, as we all know, we've had some factors around, exporting to certain countries and it's been challenging to be able to, find new avenues to be able to export products that have been affected by, international issues that are beyond our control. I believe that, there's a lot of opportunities to be able to source new places to export and be able to move that product for the customer. But that's a challenge that, we all face trying to find those type of customers. The current market for air freight, both import and export pricing have dropped significantly considering where they were maybe maybe 6 months or so ago, which has alleviated a lot of pressure off our customers to be able to, use that type of product. The slowdown in sea freight movements, both in and outbound, we have found that, there's been more opportunities to move air freight at a much better rate than what they would have moved it in, 6 or so months ago. So from one aspect, there's been a positive based on the sea freight slowdown, and the positive for the customer is that the pricing both on in and outbound air freight has reduced significantly. I believe that, the factors there are based around what's happened in the previous year or two, where there's an oversupply of product. Production was running late, so customers pre-ordered and probably ordered a bit too much. Warehouses are full. So from the sea freight component, I believe that, this time of year, traditionally we're not at the levels that we are during the Christmas period or the lead up into the Christmas period. I'm very confident that the stagnation in imports and exports on the sea freight side of the business will increase and be on par with what we've had previously leading up into the crazy peak season. For us, we're going through a process now where we're applying to be an IATA approved agent, if you want to call that, so we can then, book our own air freight with the airlines. Well, there's a few factors that are impacting global shipping. I guess, we all know that there's a war in Europe, which is affecting, some transit lanes in regards to movements from one country to another in Europe. I mean, there's delays with transport because there's certain areas that you can't move in Europe. There's factors there that you can't meet, cut-offs with shipping lines and so on, also with air freight. But there's not really a major factor in regards to shipping at the moment. I think majority of it's going smoothly. I think that's probably the only area that we could probably raise as a concern is just the timing of movements in Europe based on the current, war situation. There may be factors that, you might be able to miss some sailings or some flights due to, factors that are beyond our control when we're picking up and dropping off cargo to certain areas. With regards to exports, we have found no issues with regards to exports. Things are pretty much running smoothly from Australia outbound. We found that there's some new trade lanes to Southeast Asia and places like that where we've found a bit of a growth market. So, there's some very positives on the export side. On the import, I don't see there's many major issues. There are minimal delays and there's minimal problems with the movement of cargo from that region.